The Pro 14 is one of the three major European leagues, and it has a proud history and a weird competition format. Check out this video to find out more. Welcome to what is my first Pro 14 video. Like I said, I'll be covering this competition from now on. It's going to be interesting for me and for you as well, because this competition has some interesting points to it. So I'm going to be discussing its history, the teams in it, and also the format. As I said, I will be following the Pro 14, so if you want to see more of that action coming up, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll also be covering some other interesting news around the world for the next few months. So the competition is already in week 7. All my attention has been at the World Cup to thus far, but now I am here. I'm going to be completely focused on it. The countries that compete in this tournament, for anybody that doesn't know, is Ireland, Italy, Scotland, South Africa, and Wales. And just like the English Premiership and the top 14, the most successful teams of this competition actually qualify for the European Rugby Champions Cup. So it's the most successful teams can compete in Europe for that proud trophy. I do not have any attire for this competition yet. That's why I'm wearing my Springboks jersey. But hey, I'm still gonna get it. So just bear with me for a couple of weeks till I get something in order to just sport the Pro 14 tournament. So the history of the tournament has been a lot of chopping and changing. It started as a Welsh-Scottish league in 1999 and evolved to a tournament that also included the Irish provinces. And then in 2010 it also expanded from 10 to 12 teams, also including 2 teams from Italy. And then of course in 2017 including 2 South African teams, making it the eventual Pro 14 we know now. In between all of that, there's been a lot of teams being dropped, a lot of teams that doesn't exist anymore in this trophy at least. And a lot of stuff has happened. It's been more than 14 teams, it's been way less, but we have the Pro 14 at the moment. The next part, you have to excuse my pronunciation. I am not from there. I do pronounce everything in a South African Afrikaans accent, so I'm gonna try my best. The teams that do compete in it, from Ireland it's Connacht, Leicester, Munster and Ulster, and then from Wales it's the Cardiff Blues, Dragons, Ospreys and Scarlets. Scotland it's Edinburgh and the Glasgow Warriors. Italy it's Benetton, Treviso and Zebra, and then South Africa has the Cheetahs and the Kings. Like I said, excuse my pronunciation. Sometimes I do know how to say the word, but if it's in a whole sentence like that, my Afrikaans tongue just messes it up. So sorry about that. The most successful teams in this competition has been Leinster with 6 times winning the trophy, Ospreys 4 times, Munster 3 times, Scarlets 2 times, Ulster, Glasgow and Connacht all winning it 1 time. The rest has not gotten there thus far. The competition also uses a interesting format, to say the very least. It's great in some aspects are strange. I think it's complicated for someone to learn it from the very get-go. Like, I had to study up a little bit because I knew there was teams playing inter-conference and stuff like that, but I had to study up on the official rules and stuff like how it's working. But I think the Southern Hemisphere, like the Super Rugby, could learn from this. It could have worked a little bit better instead of having the traditional round-robin league. This competition has a 2-conference structure, and something they also say is they want to protect the derby games and also have an expanded playoff structure. So this tournament has a conference system, 2 conferences, Conference A and Conference B. Each conference has 2 Irish teams, 2 Welsh teams, 1 Scottish team, 1 Italian team, and 1 South African team, making it 7 per conference. Yes, it's a Pro 14, so split it 50-50. Then how they play against each other is a bit more complicated than one would have hoped. Each team plays the other team in its own conference twice, once home, once away, and then they play the other teams in the other conference once each year. So it is either a home game or away game, and in the next year it is different way around. As I have it so far, the conference is set for 2 years at a time. If I'm wrong there, please let me know, but the conferences, as I have it, Conference A and Conference B stays the same for 2 years, and then the new conferences are picked. And then the last bit, the tricky bit, is they play 2 more games against teams from their own country. So for teams from Ireland or Wales, they play for 1 game against 2 other sides. And then for the South Africans, Italians and Scots, they play 2 games against the other opponent also from their country. So let me explain it a bit easier than that, because my mind is still trying to figure this out. Munster, let's take them as an example. They'd have 12 conference games. Let's say they are in Conference A. They'll play 12 Conference A games, meaning against the 6 sides, they'll play home and away. Then they'll also play 7 games against Conference B. The teams in there, it's going to be home or away. And then they'll also play 1 game against, let's say in this example, Leinster and then Ulster. And then for, let's say example, the Cheetahs, they'll play 12 games within their own conference, 7 games in the other conference, and then 2 games against the Kings. So yeah, quite complicated. Hope I explained that correctly. There's a lot of stuff popping up next to me if you want to rewind a little bit and figure that out. Luckily, the thing about this tournament, the point structure works completely normal. Okay, then the knockouts, which isn't too complicated if you're used to a conference system. The knockouts take the top 3 teams from each conference, so the 3 best and the 3 best, and then they have 2 quarterfinals. The 2 quarterfinals are played against the number 2 of Conference A against the number 3 of Conference B, and quarterfinal 2 will be number 2 of Conference B versus number 3 of Conference A. Okay, the winners from that goes through to the semi-finals, who play against the winner of Conference A and the winner of Conference B. And ultimately we get a final, which is only 1 match in a neutral venue. Also an awesome idea. I've always liked the neutral final. It works well in Europe. In the Southern Hemisphere, in Super Rugby, not always the best idea because the countries are far and wide. You can't just travel over for the weekend. So yeah, great for them. The competition decides beforehand where the final will be played. And then also another aspect of this tournament, it is a qualifier to become part of the European Championship. The best teams in Europe play in there. There's 7 teams from the top 14 that go over there. So it's the 3 highest teams of each conference. And then there's 1 match to determine between the 4th ranked of each conference. They play against each other, and then they decide the winner between that. They are the 7th club also qualifying for Europe. But no South African team is allowed through to that yet. They are talking about it, but so as far as it goes now, South Africa is not part of Europe, so South Africa does not compete in that tournament. Guys, I hope I explained that well. It was complicated for me as well. I hope I pronounced most of the stuff right, but please let me know down in the comments just what I could do better, how I could pronounce it a little bit better, and if I actually understood the tournament right as well. Also, let me know what you think of the Pro 14. Do you actually like the conference structure? Do you like how they play against each other? They do play a hell of a lot of games in a year, but hey, that's how they work over in Europe. They play a lot of games. Over in the south, we don't play as much games, but we travel a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.